I spilled coffee on the shirt I was gonna wear. Hello, and welcome back to my channel. I want to take a quick moment to explain how crime rates work. I know, most of you already know this, and I hate that I have to do this, but there are still people who don't seem to understand that a crime rate has nothing to do with the population of a location. They're confusing total numbers with rates, which are usually per 100,000. So one of the reasons we're moving out of the US is due to the lack of gun control, which has made the US have an amount of gun deaths that's comparable to some of the most crime-ridden countries in the world. Now, if we go by total gun deaths in any country, the US is number 2, with only Brazil having a higher total annual number. That puts the US above El Salvador, which has a ton of gun deaths, but it's only because the population of the US is so much higher than El Salvador. Based on the rate of gun deaths, El Salvador is number 1 with 36.8 per 100,000, and the US drops to number 22 with 10.9. In comparison, the Netherlands has a rate of 0.23 gun deaths. There are people who just absolutely love the US, and I have no problem with that. If you're happy here and you feel like it's a great place to live, I'm happy for you. The problem is that there are people whose entire identity is loving America. So those people feel attacked when you say you don't think the US is the best country in the world and you think a different country is a better place to live. They need to continue believing that the US is number 1 because that's their whole identity. So they need to find a way to find a problem with the country you're moving to. What commonly happens is, I'll talk about how gun control works and how it's caused an extremely low rate of gun deaths in a country like the Netherlands. And then someone will say, well, there's a lot of knife attacks. When I tell them that there are actually twice as many stabbing deaths in the US as there are in the Netherlands, they say, well, it's because there's a higher population. But that isn't the reason, because I'm not talking about total stabbing deaths. The rate of stabbing deaths in the US is 0.6 per 100,000, but the rate in the Netherlands is only 0.25. That's how crime rates work. They're based on 100,000 people to create a level comparison. Then the argument turns into, well, if those numbers are accurate. So it becomes this conspiracy theory that the country they're trying to make look bad has more crime, they just aren't reporting it all. To those people, I like to say, if every time you're proven wrong, you have to resort to it being some unprovable conspiracy, maybe it's time to rethink your position. Your beliefs aren't so dangerous that entire governments are working to cover them up. And for the people in the Netherlands right now, I understand that there has been an increase in stabbings in the country. So for someone who has lived there long term, it feels like there are a ton of stabbings happening, but there are still far less stabbings than there are in the US. Then you add in the massive amounts of gun violence and you should understand why we're leaving. The Netherlands has never had a school shooting and has had 2 mass shootings in the history of the country. That's a slow weekend here in the US. Then you add the fact that if you are stabbed, you can go to the hospital, have your life saved, and not leave with a bill for 6 to 7 fucking figures. So please, if you have a problem with any of the reasons I'm leaving the US, you're more than welcome to express these problems to me. But don't try to claim that the facts aren't the facts, because they are. There is less crime, less murder, and less overall violence in the Netherlands than there is in the US. And that actually applies to every other country in the European Union. The EU has a combined population of almost 450 million people, almost 120 million more people than the US, though the US has 3 times more crime than the EU. It's not rocket science. I want to thank everyone who has left me positive messages about our move to the Netherlands. I especially want to thank all the people who currently live there who have been so warm and welcoming to us even before we've moved. You're the reason we're moving. If you guys have any questions about me personally or about my upcoming move to the Netherlands, you can leave them in the comments. If you like these videos, hit subscribe and you can continue on this journey with me. Thanks so much, and be safe.